The chill of the night air seeped through the cracks in the window, sending shivers down my spine as I stared at the faded sign that read Riverside Inn. It was an old, decrepit hotel that had stood there for generations, its walls stained with the memories of the past. Little did I know, as I stepped inside that eerie place, that I was about to uncover the haunted truth about a murderous hotel room. As I entered the lobby, the air hung heavy with a sense of foreboding, as though the very walls were whispering tales of the past. The receptionist, a gaunt-looking man with hollow eyes, handed me the key to room 13 with a nervous tremor in his hands. I couldn't help but feel a knot tighten in my stomach as I made my way to the room. The door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit space that seemed to echo with the voices of the long-departed. I switched on the flickering light, casting eerie shadows across the walls. The room was frozen in time, the furnishings draped in dusty sheets, and the air thick with the scent of mildew. As I looked around, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that unseen eyes were following my every move. With a deep breath, I decided to unravel the mystery that shrouded room 13. The story, as I had heard, was that decades ago, a gruesome murder had taken place within these very walls. A jealous lover, consumed by rage, had ended the life of his partner in a fit of madness. The details were sketchy, but the locals spoke of strange occurrences in the room ever since that fateful night. I pulled out my notebook and pen, determined to document my findings. As I delved into the history of the hotel, I discovered that the victim's name was Emily, a young woman who had checked into the Riverside Inn with dreams of a better life. Her lifeless body had been discovered on the very bed I was now sitting on, her eyes wide open in terror, forever etched into the fabric of the room. With a sense of trepidation, I decided to conduct a séance, hoping to communicate with the spirit of Emily and unravel the truth behind her tragic demise. The room fell silent as I lit candles and chanted ancient incantations, my voice barely above a whisper. The air grew heavy, and suddenly, I felt a presence in the room, a cold breeze brushing against my skin. "Who are you?" a voice echoed in my mind, sending chills down my spine. It was Emily, her spirit reaching out from the afterlife, eager to tell her story. I asked her about the night of her death, and as she spoke, the room seemed to come alive with her presence. She described the murderer, a man named Samuel, whose face contorted with madness as he took her life. As Emily's tale unfolded, I felt a mix of horror and sadness. She had been a victim of love gone wrong, her dreams snuffed out in an instant. The room itself seemed to absorb her anguish, the very walls bearing witness to her suffering. I could feel her pain, her fear, and her longing for justice. Determined to help Emily find peace, I delved deeper into the history of Samuel. It turned out he had been a frequent guest at the Riverside Inn, a man with a dark past and a penchant for violence. He had disappeared after the murder, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. With the newfound information, I vowed to uncover the truth and bring closure to Emily's restless spirit. Days turned into weeks as I tirelessly researched Samuel's background, following leads and connecting the dots. My efforts led me to a small town nearby, where I discovered that Samuel had been living under a new identity, haunted by the guilt of his crime. With the evidence I had gathered, I contacted the authorities, leading to his arrest and eventual confession. As the truth came to light, a sense of justice washed over me, knowing that Emily's spirit could finally rest in peace. The Riverside Inn, once a place of horror, now stood as a symbol of redemption. The locals whispered tales of the brave soul who had uncovered the haunted truth about a murderous hotel room, a story that would be passed down through generations. Leaving the Riverside Inn behind, I felt a mix of relief and sadness. The echoes of the past lingered in my mind, a reminder of the darkness that could hide behind even the most ordinary facades. As I walked away, I hoped that Emily's story would serve as a cautionary tale, a reminder that the truth, no matter how hidden, would always find its way to the surface.